Hi, I thought I'd give you some of my thoughts on the government's economic impact statement that they have just released today. Hi, I'm Richie Parsons and welcome to 2020 Financial Planning. As I said before, I'll give you some of my thoughts on the government's economic impact statement that they have released today. Well, look, broadly, the government is saying revenues are down, unemployment is expected to increase, and the surplus has now been pushed out to the year 2016-2017. So for those pundits who have been listening to opposition commentators for a period of time, that means this government will never deliver a surplus in its budget at any time that has been the elected government to lead this country. Being an ex-banker and a commercial banker, I've never seen a bad cash flow forecast. And that's what the government are promoting to us here today in terms of this economic statement. It's a cash flow forecast of how they expect to receive and spend monies received over the next 4 years. If you want to look at a historical record of what this government has spent over a period of time, just go back to my website and have a look at my blog post from late April, the deficit we had to have. At that time, Julia Gillard was saying there were grave fears about future government revenues and everything is on the table. You'll notice the increase in spending that has appeared over that cycle and also the increases in revenues that government have received over that period of time as well. Budget deficit is expected to blow out over the next 3 years. Over the next year, it's going to be $30 billion. Then they're talking $24 billion and almost $5 billion in 2015-2016. That means further increases in spending of at least a net $59 billion over those 3 years that will have to be financed via debt. In 2016-2017, they forecast a budget surplus of around about $4 billion, which is really a very small amount and again could be considered a rounding error in a multi-billion dollar or a trillion dollar economy. The government has spoken about a decrease or a slashing of revenues, but let's have a look at what has actually come out in their economic impact statement today. Total revenues are actually going to grow by their forecast from around about $369 billion to around about $450 billion over the 4-year estimates. So this gives a total compounded growth in their revenues of around about 7% per annum. So that's not too bad when you think about those types of things. And this includes the new measures. When you drill down into the numbers though, it's no surprise that the broad majority of revenue that the government receive comes from income and withholding taxes charged against ordinary workers and also company taxes. Income taxes make up around about 48% of revenues that government receive and company taxes around about 17-18%. So this means almost 2/3 of the government's revenue is derived from income and company taxes. Over the next 4 years, they are predicting fairly significant growth in both those taxes. Company taxes are expected to grow at a compounded rate of 5%, and income and withholding taxes at a compounded growth rate of almost 9% per annum. The losers out of this economic impact statement. Well, quite clearly, if you're a smoker who drives a car that has a novated lease or is underneath a salary package arrangement, or you work for a not-for-profit organisation in the international aid area, or you happen to be a Commonwealth public servant, then you are going to be a clear loser out of this. The government announced that they're going to increase the Commonwealth public sector efficiency dividend by 1% to 2.25% for 3 years. This means effectively job losses over that period of time as people will be leaving the Commonwealth workforce. So all in all, I think we should take these figures with a grain of salt. The level or margin of error for the government to achieve a budget forecast in future years is still very fine. They've only got to be at less than 1% in their forecast and they'll never achieve a budget surplus. Both sides of politics are going to have a hard time moving into the election in terms of announcing any monies that they can splash about to try and buy some votes. So I suggest watch this space and learn. Anyway, any further contact, please feel free to come back to me via my website, or you can email me directly, or separately you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Anyway, bye for now.